Hello, everyone, and welcome to Talk About It Tuesday. My name is Elise Green, and I will be our presenter for this week's Talk About It Tuesday. This week on Talk About It Tuesday, we will delve deeper into opioid use disorder. We will discuss opioids, risk factors for developing an opioid use disorder, and treatment options for those who suffer from opioid use disorder. Let's talk about it. Opioids are a strong pain medication that is prescribed as a short term medication for pain management. Commonly prescribed opioids include hydrocodone, oxycodone, morphine, and fentanyl. Opioids are prescribed to patients that have had major surgeries to help them alleviate pain during the healing process. Using opioids long term can cause permanent changes in the brain that affects learning, memory, motivation, emotion, and decision making. These brain changes lead to a persistent sensitivity to triggers and cravings and relapse. Currently, there is no way to reverse these changes completely in the brain. Did you know that in 2018, almost 70% of all drug overdose deaths involved opioids? According to the CDC, two-thirds of all opioid overdose deaths involved a synthetic opioid. Who is at risk for developing an opioid use disorder? Anyone. The longer a person is on an opioid, the greater the risk for developing a dependency. Individuals with the highest risk for developing an opioid use disorder are those with a history of depression, anxiety, smoking, alcohol use, drug use, and those who suffer from chronic pain. Risk increase among those using opioids longer than 1 week and those who take more medication than they are prescribed. Right now, there is no permanent cure for opioid use disorder. While some people can achieve long term recovery after stopping opioids, most people who become addicted to opioids are vulnerable to relapse and even overdose. However, it is possible to significantly reduce the risk of relapse and overdose with effective treatment. As long as treatment continues, the risk of relapse and overdose are reduced. This makes opioid use disorder, like many other chronic diseases, such as diabetes, hypertension, or depression, which cannot be permanently cured but can be effectively controlled with ongoing treatment. The most effective treatment for opioid use disorder is medication assisted treatment. This treatment with the pairing of counseling is effective in preventing relapse and is proven as a way to reduce the risk of death from opioid overdose. Treatments that do not include medication are not nearly as effective. There are currently 3 medications that are approved by the Food and Drug Administration for opioid use disorder. If you or someone you know suffers from an opioid use disorder, contact your local doctor's office or clinic to see what services are available. Opioid use disorder is a disease, and like many diseases, can be managed through treatment. Thank you for tuning in to this week's Talk About It Tuesday. If you would like to connect with us, please email us at cameron@ferris.edu. Thanks, and hope to see you next time on Talk About It Tuesday.